And welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live here at Citizen Television, here with Cabinet Secretary for Land and Physical Planning, Farida Karoney. My goodness, I've never seen a show with so many questions. Even my own colleagues. Trevor Ombija is watching.
I told you that there's no Kenyan who doesn't understand anything about land. Because we are very invested in land. And that's why it was important, Jeff, to create a platform that allows government to manage it properly in a sustainable manner.
And land is very emotive, isn't it?
Yes, it is, as you know, Jeff.
As you know, yeah. Let's go to the wall. Let's ask so many questions. Enoch Kilile says, what will happen to the land parcels that already have pending court cases? Yeah. Does the RDSASA register take into consideration such cases so that we don't have duplication of the same errors, hence conflict within the system?
It takes into account any encumbrances on any parcel. Whether it's a court case or a loan in the bank, we have all this in the platform. The only thing that will happen if the property has a case, the system will indicate that this is a contested property and the matter is before court. If there's been a ruling, we will register the ruling on the parcel file in the system so that we know what was the ruling. If there's a court order, it will equally be registered in the parcel file in the system. So any transaction, be it court, be it bank, or whichever transaction, any form of encumbrance will be registered in the system.
So if there's a dispute on a piece of land,
yes,
it'll say it?
If it's before court, it will indicate. Because what we have done, Jeff, we are combing through all the records of a particular parcel of land. As I said, from the planning stage to the survey stage, administration. Administration is a file that has correspondences about that parcel. So those such correspondences of court will be in that file. And therefore they will have been uploaded onto the platform.
Very good. Eileen Wakesho says, the Community Land Act was passed in 2016. 5 years later, only 3 communities have secured titles to their land. Please ask the CS, how long do communities have to wait, and what plans does the ministry have to expedite the process? Community Land Act.
Yes. That act, Jeff, we started implementation in July of 2019. We've actually registered 3. So that colleague is 2 parcels behind.
Okay.
It's a process to register community land because you start by documenting the community itself. You have to register the community and document the community. And then you document their right to the land. It's a process we have started. This financial year, we're hoping to scale it up because we've done the basics. The law required us to first do public participation, which we have done in the 24 counties that have community land. We finished that last year, and now we have started the process of registration. So now we have only 5 community titles, but we are scaling it up. And Rome was not built in one day, Jeff. And these communities, the parcels of land, sometimes they are contested because it's sometimes dicey recognizing the community or documenting the community. But it's a process we've started and we intend to carry it through. In our strategic plan, we've given ourselves until the end of 2024 to document and register rights to all the community lands in Kenya. They're in 24 counties, Jeff, which actually forms 70% of the land mass in Kenya.
70%
yes.
is community land?
Yes. They're in 24 counties. The larger part of Kenya is community land.
2024?
Yes.
Can we hold you to that?
Yes.
I know we can. Kariz Rizka says, I congratulate the CS on her efforts to eliminate land cartels. Now we have an issue with physical planners at county level. What is she planning on taming them? Because they are a huge block on Agenda 4 vision. Physical planners.
Yeah. Jeff, as you know, the physical planning function is a concurrent role between the national government and the county government. There are 2 planning authorities, the CS for lands at the national level and the CEC for planning at the county level. So some of those planners, actually maybe some of them are employed by the county government because it's a devolved function. Planning is done locally by county governments unless whatever you're planning is a project of strategic national importance. That one is done by the national government. So we work consistently with our county governments because the thing we are working with them to do is to build their capacity. Because as you know, the county governments are new. This is only the second term of the county governments. So they still need to build their sufficient capacity to run the planning function on their own. We still work with them to support them. But it's really not a role of the national government at the county level.
All right, let me just read a couple of mine if you don't mind. Trevor Ombija, I told you earlier on, he's watching, huh? I think you've answered a couple of his questions. He says, will you be giving out new title deeds, and what happens to the old ones?
For the conversion?
Yes.
So this is what happens. The reason why we are changing the title is because they are registered in legal regimes that are not recognized by the current law and by this platform. I wish you had a copy of the title, Jeff. You will see it will indicate the registration regime that title has been registered on. So ultimately, we'll have to close all those registers. There are 5 pieces of legislation currently documenting rights to land. We want to close all of them and collapse them into the Land Registration Act. When we finally do, you will get a new title under the Land Registration Act of 2012. So ultimately, that is what will happen. But for a landowner, you don't have to worry because you lose nothing. All your rights under your current title will be migrated to the Land Registration Act. If you have a bank loan, it will be migrated. Your acreage, the same will be everything that you enjoy under the current law that you're applying or you're using will be migrated to the Land Registration Act. So I don't think landowners ought to worry. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah.
Okay. Soraya Wanjiro, ask Waziri Farida about the Ngong Lands Office that's been so corrupt. Landowners are still having a hard time accessing searches or even green cards of their properties. We are quite frustrated.
I understand the frustration of Soraya because we had closed that registry for about 4 months. And the reason we had closed it is exactly because of the reasons that Soraya has indicated there. We did, during the closure period, which lasted about 4 months, we did arrange the records and put them together in an organized manner. They're still manual, so we organized the records so that it's easier to find the documentation for the customers. It is true, Jeff, that there's cases of fraud, not just in Ngong, but in our registries across the country, which we are now dealing with under this platform that we are doing. When we finish Nairobi, which we have, the next place we are going to is Ngong. And we want to quickly digitize their records so that it's easier for the customers to do those transactions they are complaining about. In this platform, Jeff, a search will take you under 5 minutes, or between 2 and 3 minutes, because you just log on, register, go search, put your property, and there you are. So it's a very quick process. So that's why we are really serious about upscaling this program so that the rest of the country can enjoy the benefits that the people of Nairobi are now enjoying with the platform, Jeff.
Yeah, from Ngong, maybe we can go to Machakos because Chege Wagashamba is saying, ask CS what she's doing about Kenya's land grabbing epicenter, Mavoko.
Land grabbing epicenter.
Yes.
It's true, there are a lot of cases of land fraud in Mavoko, as indeed there are in other sectors of the country. And as I said, Jeff, when we are through with the Central Registry next month, we will move next to the metropolitan area counties, Nairobi Metropolitan. That is the counties of Machakos, Kajiado, Kiambu, and Murang'a. So in another 3-4 months, they will be online. So they don't need to, they can just wait a few more months, and we should be online with them as well.
Peter Opondo, he says, tops.
Asante.
This is text messages, SMS. Dr. James, what is the government policy on land rates and other land payment on poor persons with disabilities?
Jeff, rates are rates payable to county governments. Land rent is payable to the national government. These are land taxes. And you see how the government, either county or national government, serves you is by taxing you, so that we get money to provide the services that you require. So really, these are set taxes anybody should pay. And it doesn't distinguish whether you have a disability or not. It's just that you, as a Kenyan, you're obligated to pay tax. Paying tax is not an option for us in Kenya, or indeed other places in the world, Jeff, because that is how your government will provide the services that you require. So unfortunately, it's a tax that we have to pay as landowners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kipruto Chirchir is saying cartels are grumbling right now, Madam CS. Are you afraid of the vicious cartels?
Jeff, you know, we just have to do the right thing. And the right thing is to put our records in a proper manner, to secure them, to make them easy to access, and to make it easy for people wanting to do business with us to do it. I think if we're all to be afraid, then it will never be done, Jeff. And I think this platform is an idea whose time has come. because the level of decay in our sector is such that we cannot permit further decay. We have to stop the rot where it is and try to correct things going forward. Some of the mistakes we have made in the past, we may not be able to undo, but we are saying we can leave that behind. But going forward, we must really do the right thing, Jeff. Our population continues to expand. The landmass is exactly the same as it was in 1963 when we got independence. If we don't sort and create order, what do you think will happen in another 50 years? People will be killing each other because of land. Yeah. Why do we want to allow that to happen? When we have the power and the capacity to do the right thing at this moment in time.
Yeah, correct past wrongs, huh? Tough job. This is from Machakos County. My father's land case is dated 1971. First hearing. Up to date, we are still waiting for justice. Now I am 50 years old. Will digitalization of land help us get justice?
Yes, Jeff, it should, because what digitalization does is to provide the information you need to prosecute your case in court. Because we are saying if you are that landowner, you are struggling to find material, maybe your lawyer is struggling, it will be easily accessible to you. So it will probably help the lawyers of that customer to move the process quicker in court. And we are also making this platform available to judicial officers so that anybody interested in using the data in the system to make a decision can access it. We will provide access to the judiciary, we will provide access to EACC, to DCI, and anybody interested in resolving any matter or any dispute involving land.
What about grabbed land? There's a lot of grabbed land in this county.
Public land, yes. There's plenty. One of the things we've done with this cadastre, with this platform, Jeff, cadastre, as I said, is a collection of maps for the county, is to separate public land from private land. So we have a separate map or cadastre for public land and a separate one for private land. Now, what we are doing to document private lands, as I said, we are going back to history. We are tracing the history of that parcel from way back when it was created. If it was originally set aside as public land, this platform will lock it so that a decision can be reached on what to do with it. Because on paper, that is public land. If you acquired it irregularly, then another process will have to be followed to right that mistake. But the intention of His Excellency the President is to protect or safeguard public land, as you heard him say yesterday. So what we have really been keen is combing through these files of ours to set aside anything that is public land so that it is reserved and safeguarded and set aside from public or private or community lands. For the purposes of future deployment of assets, we have those that have not been affected at all, so we are just documenting. We have several that haven't even been surveying, so now we are surveying. Places like Uhuru Park, it's now that we are surveying Uhuru Park. Can you imagine, Jeff? And documenting those public lands. But there are others that have been grabbed or stolen by private practitioners. Those we are saying, according to our record, this is public land. So you will have to come and tell us how did you acquire it, because when you go on the platform, it will not be available for transaction because on record it's a public property.
And if you bought that piece of land thinking that it wasn't, let's say, innocently bought it, Shauri Zako?
Not really Shauri Zako. We'll have a separate team, Jeff, which is now interrogating all these issues because the issues are diverse and complex and they cannot be resolved just by one person. So many of those issues, we are setting them aside and we are locking them first of all because according to our assessment, it's public land. Then we'll have another team to comb through now these records and assess how did you come by, how did you acquire this land? And then a decision will be made in the future on what to do with them. But for now, if you're holding a title to a public asset, it will not be available on this platform.
Good. Yeah. Brian Koech in Voi says, with the NLIMS, that's that system, right?
Yeah.
Will I be able to download the map of a particular place without going to the lands office? If yes, does it entail exact coordinates?
Jeff, this platform has been built to some exact science, sort of, because we are actually calculating. The system automatically calculates your acreage when we place the coordinates for the parcel. So yes, in terms of coordinates, it is exact. In terms of whether you can download or not, first of all, it's not a platform that gives you latitude to walk all over the platform. You will transact on your parcel of land.
Mm-hmm.
When you log in, it doesn't mean you can just be walking all over the platform trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
You will go direct to your parcel which you want. On that parcel, you can overlay satellite imagery and see it. You can download if you like, if it is your parcel. But for the rest of the parcels, you won't be able to, unless you have a direct interest or stake in it. Yeah.
Great. Those questions coming in thick and fast. Let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
Come back and answer more. Do you have more? I know you have. There's so many, so thick, so fast.
Yeah.
And, you know...
Jeff, I can preempt. I saw someone there when during the break I was reading through the feeds. There's a gentleman who said that the platform is not very effective. That's why I told you take your phone and log on. Now, this platform, Jeff, I don't know what to compare it with. It's a very sophisticated and superior. It's an intelligent system. It will not allow you to play monkey easily. It will locate or trace what you are doing on the system. So I don't understand by it is not effective. What does that mean? Have you tried to log on and you didn't succeed? I don't think so. The thing that will challenge our customers here is the many parcels I'm telling Jeff that will not be here. And they will not be here for a good reason. Either we cannot tell with certainty who is the owner, or it is public land, or it is a sectional unit. Those will not be there. And there's a process to bring them on board. Others, in terms of the sophistication of the system, the security of the system, it is beyond reproach. That I guarantee you, Jeff. It is a good system. It's a stable system. It is a system that, I don't know, this country has been waiting for all these years.
You know, there'll always be people saying, you know, questioning.
It's okay. I mean, we welcome. That's why we have a customer support center.
Okay.
Because that is the feedback we want. And this platform, the advantage it has been built by Kenyans. The government of Kenya has the copyright to this system. If we take on your feedback and we feel we need to change something, it's instant. We don't need to pay anyone. Because the officers who built it are paid a salary by government. So there's no contractor we are going to look for to do anything. We just tell the developer we think we need to change ABC, and it will be changed tomorrow. Or tonight, if you like, because as I said, the customer support service is 24 hours.
It's live.
Yeah, it's live.
Real time.
Yeah, so this system, Jeff, is a good system. I want to urge the people of Kenya to try it, to test it, to interrogate it, because we are open for feedback. When you give us the feedback and we think it is valid feedback, we will implement it in the system. And indeed, after the many stakeholder engagements we had in February, we had many. I even came here to Citizen TV to talk to your editors. We took on their feedback and we've built it into this platform. That is why we're doing the stakeholder engagements in February, in order to improve the system. Because as you can imagine, Jeff, it's human beings who have built the system. They are not going to build a system which is 100% perfect. They will build a good system, but there's always room for improvement.
All right. Yeah. Room for improvement and room for feedback. Yeah. Keep the feedback coming at Koinange Jeff at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLive. We're speaking live to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning, Farida Karoney, folks. Calling it like she sees it, just like she was in the edit room, in the newsroom. Chop, chop. Let's do this.
Thank you.